Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Binit Shrestha from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and I'm here today to present on facility design standardization work process and optimization in capital projects. So let me start with the outline of the presentation. So I'm going to introduce the topic and as well as discuss the problem of the study. Then I'll discuss research objectives, questions and methods that I employed to conduct a study as well as the results of the study, and then conclude the presentation with the contributions of the study. So to begin with, I would like to start by saying something that is very common knowledge to us all. Construction industry has failed to improve project performance. As you can see on the right-hand side, a graph by McKinsey shows that 98% of the projects face cost overruns. The graph on the bottom right-hand corner also shows that the construction industry has a downward going trend and is lagging behind in terms of productivity as compared to its counterpart, the manufacturing industry, as well as the total industry as a whole. Construction projects are complex and they are well known to be prone to numerous risks and uncertainties, which considerably influence the project performance with regards to cost and schedule. And this could be because of various reasons, but the downward going trend is quite alarming. It is apparent that we are missing out on opportunities to improve project performance. So how can we improve project performance? Facility standardization is a potential solution. According to CII, it is defined as the development and use of consistent designs to align project stakeholders, objectives, and scope to capture and optimize cost, schedule, and value. This leads to improvement in cost savings and schedule savings, as well as in project performance. Other industries such as shipbuilding industry and the manufacturing industry have successfully implemented the facility standardization and reaped the substantial benefits of facility standardization. So what are these benefits of facility standardization? Well, I have noted down some of the benefits here, including design once and reuse multiple times, design and procurement in advance, several learning curve benefits, and procurement discounts from volume or early identification and early commitment are some of those benefits. However, even though the benefits are considerable, practitioners of the standardization strategy in the industry are facing several challenges, different barriers to successful implementation of facility standardization. Some of these challenges are abandoning conventional methods and sticking to the customized methods, and not willing to commit to the standardization strategy, lack of standardization management strategy and standards as in general. Also, lack of understanding of the benefits and trade-offs of facility standardization, which is quite important to successfully implement the facility standardization strategy. So by capturing the best practices for successful planning and execution of facility standardization, implementing standardization successfully and improved project performance is possible. However, there is a lack of a well-developed standardization work process to better understand the standardization strategy, which could potentially help and guide the practitioners to better implement the standardization strategy and reap the substantial benefits of the strategy. Which brings me to the research objectives of this study. The first one is to identify the phase deliverables for life cycle of standardized projects, which outlines the key phases and the key tasks. It also develops a standardization optimization chart for visualization of work process. The second objective is to identify the key standardization critical success factors for each phases and key tasks. I would like to note that the work process and the CSFs, critical success factors, are adopted from CII 2020. The research questions are as follows. The first one is what are the different life cycle phases and key tasks for standardized projects? Second, what are the phase deliverables in life cycle of a standardized project? And finally, what are the pertinent critical success factors that need to be accomplished in different phases? This is the research method flowchart that we have adopted to conduct the study. First, we conducted a comprehensive literature review, which helped us identify the standardization work process phases as well as phase deliverables. We did this by face-to-face meetings as well as virtual meetings, and also content analysis of the deliverables to identify the potential key deliverables. We also conducted thematic analysis to group the key phase deliverables into overarching and final deliverables, after which we conducted a survey amongst the industry practitioners to finalize the deliverables, the critical success factors, as well as the optimization chart. We did all of this again by conducting face-to-face interviews and meetings as well as virtual meetings whenever necessary. And then we finalized the deliverables and the critical success factors. So let's talk about the results. And the first one is the key tasks which were identified for facility standardization. You can note here that this is for the first project, that is the project 1. So in standardization, there are multiple project phases, starting with the first project and the subsequent project. To help visualize the scope, we grouped the standardization key tasks across the typical project phase, splits from opportunity framing to operation and maintenance. Focus your attention on the first two phases, opportunity framing and assessment, and selection. The first phase, for the first project in a standardized program, which is for this one, completion of tasks identified here is the key to the success of the program. Think about it. In a standardized, in an opportunity framing, you need to determine your market, validate business drivers, develop a plan and work processes, and most importantly, obtain management approval. In the selection phase, the newly approved program must be further defined and detailed with additional scoping and scheduling. Examination of supply chain options, O&M, and other considerations, with the end result being the validation of the economics and the development of the basic engineering design. Tasks for basic engineering design and execution are to develop the plans that will keep you on track and following the guidelines set, and to not help you lose sight of the standardization goals. Key to this success is the assembly of quality team with both the singleness of purpose and the authority to maintain the task goals previously set up in the opportunity framing and assessment and selection phases. So as project 1 nears completion in the commissioning and startup and O&M phases, special emphasis must be made on capturing potential optimizations and lessons learned. These will be beneficial on both projects 2+, that is the subsequent projects, as well as any first major update of the program. So if you did your homework on the first project, project 1, all subsequent projects skip immediately to the basic engineering design. That is the basic design phase. So in some cases, even the basic design phase is abbreviated. While it is expected that there may be small adjustments in this phase, well thought out program would have to have taken these variations into consideration. For instance, for example, in a project, different foundation support may be required for a standardized skid, but the skid itself does not change. So let's move on to the facility standardization optimization chart. So the optimization chart is a different visual for the work method. The project 1, the top line, utilizes all project phases as described before, right? So it will be the longest and the most expensive project you will see in your program due to the extra market, program research, and other unique activities in project 1. All subsequent project phases immediately kick off at basic design, and even this phase should be shorter than it was for project 1. So as you can see, as the project's number increase, the cost decreases as well as the duration per projects also decrease. So these are some of the high value tasks for each phase. You see commitment to standardization and developing a standardized work process is very important for opportunity framing and assessment phase. So let's talk about the phase deliverables. So, and I will talk about the phase deliverables for opportunity framing and assessment. Market analysis, program standardization strategy, program development plan, and standardization method and work process and strategy are the key deliverables of this phase. Similarly, we have come up with the key deliverables for all the other phases as well. These are the 15 critical success factors which were identified by CII 2019, and these were adopted to group each CSF or different multiple CSFs for each key task, as you will see here. You will see that each task out of 41 were assigned certain critical success factors that need to be accomplished for successful implementation of the work process and the standardization strategy. For example, CSF for task 1, CSF number 2, 6, 10, and 15 are necessary to be accomplished to ensure success of the work process and the standardization strategy. So in conclusion, 6 phases for standardized projects were identified, which included 41 key tasks and 25 deliverables. 2 levels of implementation of facility standardization were discussed, first phase and subsequent phases. Optimization chart was also developed, which shows that as projects continue in the standardization program, cost and schedule performance improves. And finally, certain CSFs that were more important for each phase and each key tasks were identified. So based on these identifications, it helps the study helps the industry better understand facility standardization, as well as successfully implement standardization by serving as a guiding document. Therefore, it helps the industry achieve higher levels of facility standardization as well as improve project performance. As for the body of knowledge, it adds to the existing literature on standardization, as well as addresses the gap in literature regarding implementation of facility standardization by developing a work process. I would like to acknowledge the Construction Industry Institute, CII, for helping with this project and guiding us throughout. And I would like to thank you for patiently listening to this presentation. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. Thank you very much.